Hey guys, welcome back. So, I made a post on my community thing, and yeah, my fiance actually got me for our anniversary a new box of Leman Russes. So what we're gonna do here is, I'm kind of doing another same thing with the Rogaldorn. I'm gonna do a bunch of shots and then stitch them all together and just give them to you that way. And it'll be a shorter video, hopefully. And it's just going to go over the main things and main measurements. So, for instance, this is actually the first part, is this measurement. I just have a metal ruler here. This first part here is just about 1 inch, okay? You can see that the inch line is that big one right there. Sorry for like the very scratchy. Now, obviously, the rest of this goes a bit higher, so you could theoretically just jump that up to 1 inch, right? It's not that much different. You can just do that. So the first bit will be 1 inch, and then I'll show you what I've got after that. Alrighty guys, back again. Sorry, you're not probably going to get a whole lot of, it's just going to be jumping from literally one video to the next. So this is what I got. I ended up grabbing that inch that I mentioned and marked off on the ruler 1 inch on here. Now, this whole thing is like here to here, the same thing as 1 inch high, but now we got to do width. So what I do is I'm just going to put it right here, right on the corner, that flat corner, as flat as possible. And just mark off this part. Now you can see these two do not align, so that's fine. Because this is lined up, what you can do, again, this here, this distance here, that is, we'll just write it here, 1 inch, just for memory. And we'll do this, and we'll write down whatever that distance is. But what we're going to do is, now that I've marked this spot and this spot at the same height, I can just match the two up, right? I'm going to have my pencil go from one to the other, and then that leaves this. In which case, I now simply mark that up, make it as straight as possible. So this spot, actually, you know what, let's do actually a real quick measurement just to help you out here. Make that also a bit easier. So it looks to be, that is 2 inches. Let me see if I can move this camera a bit. Yeah, just first I'll show you. So you can see the 2 right there, that'll be 2 inches, right? So I'm gonna keep going this. I saw a post on Reddit. Somebody was talking about kit bashing their own tanks, and honestly, I get it. These kits are not like they're not cheap anywhere. They're pretty good for what you get, but they are not cheap. So obviously, I think while I would love to help with just kit bashing kits that you buy and making more out of that, honestly, the best option, if you can't afford it, which is completely understandable, I barely can most of the time, is make your own from scratch. So that's what I'm gonna keep walking you through. I'm going to cut here and there because I'm gonna be just doing general measurements and going from there to kind of give you the idea of how it goes in the long run, but you'll be able to see it all. Alrighty, so hope you enjoy that. I'll be back in a bit. Alrighty guys, back in. By the way, I'm sorry, I'm going, this dark line that you're seeing right here and here, that's just because of my lighting, so sorry about that, but I thought I'd just show you kind of how we're going. So, same thing, 1 inch, 2 inches, so it's 2 inches wide so far. This is going to be the chassis, and this 1 inch is specifically this part here. Now, you can see I already marked off another thing here. This is about 1 inch as well. So if you wanted to be as accurate, you can see right there, it's like before, it just slightly, ever so slightly, not 1 inch. It's just a little bit short. It's what would that be, 2/10, I guess? So what, 8, I don't know inches much, I'm a metric. But another thing you can also measure is just straight end to end. We're just gonna put that there. You can see it's right there, just over 3.5. Looks like 3 point, give or take, 3.7, 3.8 inches long. Okay? So the whole chassis from end to end is 3.8 inches long. Now this mark, like I said, is going to be this. So the idea is this will fold, it'll be like an L almost. That'll be, this one is that first fold, second one, and then whatever comes after this will be this part here. So it's going to be 1 inch up, inch bent at an L shape, and then either diagonal, you could do a diagonal, or you could do another right angle, you know, straight up. I'm not sure. I'll probably do straight up just to make it all easy, give you the math like that. I can also probably try and make just a box tank where it's literally just a square, which you're definitely not getting a good result with how the tank looks if you just do the box, but we will see how it goes. So first, so far we got an inch up, 2 inches wide, another inch up, and we'll go from there. Okay guys, so bad news. I was measuring this, and I'm not sure I know what half the meanings are for this. So, actually, you know what? Give me a sec. Okay, sorry, I'm back. So, I was writing this out, measuring it out for you, and I realized I have no idea how to read this thing. I don't know what these little notches are, I don't know what these medium notches are, what these big notches are. All I know is roughly how many notches are in between. So, I gave you this with an inch, gave you this with an inch. This is 10/16 an inch. And I say that, I do not know for sure what 10/16 is. I just know, right, there are 16 of these notches. Sorry, just unfocused. Block that, there we go. There's 16 notches in between this all the way to 1. So 10 of those out of 16. I don't know how much that is. Really sorry about that. It's definitely over half. But yeah. Yeah, actually, you know what? I think that big long one right there, I think that's half an inch right there. So, you know what? That's, maybe those are like 1/4 inches. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'm kind of writing what I can. I pulled this out. I also have this. Again, I don't know how to read this. I'm going to actually look this up really quick right after I'm done shooting this part. But essentially, this is what we've got so far. And I wanted to mention, when you're doing this, make sure you use your pencil and you push down hard when you're sure, by the way, when you're sure that you're writing the right area. Because when we cut this out, the parts that are indented from writing hard on it will be easier to fold. So it's a bit easier to build. Another thing, actually, this one might not have it. This does. So this is actually the box. I wanted to show that you can make this out of literally what you get. I'm going to do my best to work with just the Leman Russ box to make this. But either way, never use this smooth side for the outside of your vehicles. Because this, I don't know what it is, this side can peel. So if you put, say you put super glue on it, this side kind of separates its own way. It can rip off. This side, it isn't great either, but you can solidify the side with Mod Podge, and it's almost, I don't know how to explain. It's kind of like this has a protective layer on top that can peel off. When it reveals, you can see like this print is on like its own shiny bit of paper there, but underneath there's the cardboard itself. You want this part facing outward so it doesn't peel. So I'll continue working on this. I'll look up a quick video, try and figure out how the measurements work on inches. I'll tell you that. I just watched a video on these things. You guys, the metric's a lot easier. But, so, okay, I think these are 16ths. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 4/16. I think. I'll write it all down. I'll do some math. I'll figure it out. Alrighty guys, I think I've got it, okay? I could be wrong. This, I believe, is 5/8 an inch. This, I believe, is 1 3/4 of an inch. So, in the end, you don't need to be exact. But with centimeters, this would be so much easier. I know centimeters, inches, I only know an inch, and that there's 12 in, what even are they, 12 inches in a foot? I think? Yeah, 12 inches in a foot. That's all I know. So yeah, just for reference, I will try and write the actual amounts on here. But you guys have a bad system. Alrighty, see you in a second. Alrighty guys, I think I got it, so I just knocked that. So, what we got here, it obviously, the size doesn't seem to match. That's because we're going to try and fold it and see how this turned out. So this is the inch high, that's this part here. This is an inch across, that's going inwards. This is 5/8 an inch, which is this kind of up diagonal thing. We're going to see how all this works out anyway. This is 1 inch 3/4. That's across here. Sorry, my cat's coming up over here. Hey, cat. I'll just move her onto the table beside me. And over here we have 1 inch and 1/4, and that is this final face. Now, like I mentioned, you write hard with your pencil, and you can redo this afterwards. Once you've got it all set up and you've got it figured out, you can go through once more like I did, and it should bend really easily. Like you can see it's already naturally bending right along, right where I pushed the pencil in. Now, I don't know the force needed to do this with your pencil, but it's not a lot, so you theoretically don't even really need to push hard. I just do for ease. I actually may have to push hard for this part. Oh, that seems to be okay. There we go. Look at that. So right now we're just trying to kind of bend it a bit. Alright, so this is kind of what we got. Now let's see how it matches up. So we roughly, this will be 1 inch, so we want this to largely be flat. Oh, actually, interestingly enough, I kind of messed this one up. This should be folding up, not down. But luckily, because we folded it. So the tank is going to be something like this. Now let's see roughly how that works. Let's see if I can pull this down. Sorry, it's kind of... Sorry, just going to kind of be stuck like this. You know what I'll do is I'll do this. So that inch is looking good. It folds over well. The problem is that's the wrong side. There we go. So it folds over. The height's about right. It's looking okay. Sorry, I didn't really plan for this kind of way of showing you. And now my... You know what, give me a sec. I gotta fix everything here. Okay, I think I got it. Wait, let's see. Okay, sorry, it was settling. Alrighty, so we're gonna do something like this. Let's see how this goes. Now we have that. Okay, that's not bad. Let's see. So ignoring that this kind of can't go in, so let's try and something like, come on, there. Alrighty, so you can see most of it's good. The biggest issue is this extra bit here, but I think that could be fixed if we just kind of force this to bend a little differently. Now, okay, yeah, so I'm going to probably redo this. I will make a box tank out of this anyway, but it's looking like this didn't work out the best. You know what, though? I forgot. I can actually just do this, put it underneath where it's more flat. Okay, so you could probably cut, it looks like we can cut this middle part's distance a little bit. The whole thing can be brought down in size just a bit. It's not crazy bad. Sorry, I'm trying to find a way I can see this, but I'm trying to find a way to show you. It looks mainly like there's just too much space back here. The rest isn't actually crazy bad. So you know what? That's not even a full inch. Let's just mark that off with our fingernail. You can't see it. I can. It's right here. And we'll quickly do just a line across just to correct. That's roughly what? Looks to be 1/16th, if I'm reading this right. So, real quick, we'll mark that off. It looks like a 16th. Yeah, that should be a 16th. So it's 1/16th off of an inch, actually. So let's do that. We'll mark this hard. You can see. You know what we will do? Get rid of that inch measurement. Now this measures... I'm gonna... You know what? This is just one notch, 1/16th short of an inch. I'll write it down later, but for now that's what you get. Because I have to stop recording to find the video again. But in short, yeah, shorten that down by an inch and it should actually fit. That'll be your chassis, the top part. We'll go back to the bottom part in a second, so see you in a bit. Sorry, literally a second later, I just realized if it's 1/16 short of an inch, that makes it 15/16. Sorry, just realized that mathematically makes sense. Okay. Anyway, back to it. Sorry. Alright, guys, we are back now. So, as I showed you previously, here's the piece for the chassis. Slightly shortened. You can see I cut off like a 1/16 there. This one here. I ended up going with, I just traced it mainly. I didn't even trace it. Took a ruler, found it this distance up. Oh, sorry, I'm not even in camera and I'm showing you stuff. This area is about 15/16 of an inch. Okay? You can see it kind of bends off. I did a bit of measurement. It was about an inch. You can see I was wrong. You got about another 1/16 there. So I would say this is probably I actually messed up by the way. This is 2 inches and 15/16 of the 3rd inch. So it's just 1/16 short of 3 inches. This one here, meanwhile, I wrote it as an inch, but measuring it up to this one, you can see it's slightly too big. So really, this is probably 1/15 of an inch. 1/15 of an inch. So we're going to quickly scratch that out. We're going to do 15/16 of an inch. 15/16 inch. Just for ease of math here. And yeah, so this is kind of what we're looking at. In the end, it's going to go something like this. And this, like I mentioned, was the front. So, you know what would be a really good example right now? Let's pull out an actual Leman Russ, shall we? So this is what we got here. By the way, you'll notice I don't paint the underside. You aren't going to see it. Anyway, I also kept this track. That's a trick I'm going to show you. That's how I got, let me pull it out, this tank here with the extra track. This is an extra track. I just took it from the part you're not going to see. Always try and extend your bits. Theoretically, you can even carve probably up till here. You don't need to, though. But yeah, either way, always try and take all the bits that you can't see and extend your abilities as far as you can. Anyway, though, so this is a Leman Russ tank. We are going to... Now, I can't take the wheels off, obviously, but we can get a rough estimate of what we're talking about here. So this is going to be on the front. And the tank's going to be probably something like that. That looks about right, yeah? Sorry, it's so hard to hold this. If I had an assistant, that'd be making it so much easier right now. Of course, sideways with that. Okay. This thing here. So you can see that folds. This is roughly where it's going to go to once this thing's built. That's not crazy bad right there. That's a pretty good chassis, I think. So now I'm going to set up a hot glue gun. I will show you how to strengthen these kinds of points. But yeah, so what I think my plan is, I'm going to build one Leman Russ really quick. It's going to be this big chunk. Build a Leman Russ, show you roughly how to do it, and then, yeah, it'll just kind of be showing you how I build it again. One thing I will note, though, so when I made these Leman Russes, the originals, I will actually show you this real quick, too. So I gave each tank their own cannon. Now, important note, I messed up. This cannon cannot turn. If you can ever make them turn, it's so much easier. You can pop them off and store them easier. But yes, this is a plasma cannon. I believe it's an executioner. This is a las cannon. They swapped this out to pretend it's an auto gun. It's clearly not an auto gun. It's a las cannon from last edition. But either way, I tried to make them all unique. So I've got a Vanquisher cannon here. I got an executioner cannon, and whatever this thing is, I can't remember. On my next tanks, I have, so you only get 2 tank heads with these things. I went with a battle cannon, and I went with this I don't know what this is. It's not the mortar. It doesn't really matter. I went with this one. Now, I still do have, let me find them. I have not made a Punisher Gatling cannon tank yet, and I have not made one of those siege cannon things with this. I will say, however, you can, these kits are so nice. The Leman Russ, and again, I understand if you can't afford it, don't worry about it. You don't need it. It's just It just good bits. If you can get it though, every single spare cannon can be used. I end up kit bashing artillery with my other stuff, but you could probably do heavy weapons squad kind of thing. Now this Gatling cannon's a bit much, but like, you know, you could do artillery teams with the executioner barrel or this mortar barrel like I did. Just so you know, nothing here is wasted. Like you can take everything. And real quick, I just want to show you this. I broke off the fins from the top of this. I actually broke it off with both of these. I still kept one on this one though, and in the end I didn't magnetize this one, so ironically this one fin is the only thing keeping this thing able to turn like that. Try and keep that as a thing. Either way, I ended up breaking them off accidentally with this one because I had to get it out, and I couldn't turn it, so what I did was I raised the entire thing, put a magnet there, but that also obviously made it easy to see the original neck. So what I did is I built this little cage around it out of wood, painted it like metal, so it's almost like a body, and it actually makes the tank commander slightly taller than the other tanks. And I'm not sure what level of legality this is in actual tournaments. I don't care. I play with my friends. Obviously, these tanks would not be legal in tournaments, not even just because of this, because that could be argued to be like modeling for advantage, but just the fact 90% of this is cardboard and wood, and hot glue is probably not great for tournaments. But yeah, that's another thing for side guys. I try to keep them all unique in their own way, because again, I play with my friends. This is all proxy anyway. I thought these were flamers originally because of the tube. I thought that was gas or a fuel line. It's not. This is a Melta, so just so you know if you don't know. Plasmas are pretty obvious. They have the fins. I thought this was a Melta. These are flamers. And I also put them in backwards. You can see the skull. In fact, I didn't even color that skull. I colored that one. I didn't color that one. These are backwards. That one's actually supposed to be on the right. But just so you know, if you build your own Leman Russ, that's what you get. For my new ones, you'll see all this eventually. Where did they go? I went with las cannons, and I went with... Oh, did I? Yeah. Well, I have a bolter, but it looks like... Yeah, I went with las cannons, and I went with flamers again. Even though, I always run the same thing, always Meltas. And I even have a bolter front gun. In reality, I think I use the auto cannon at the front anyway. But it really doesn't matter in the end. I'll keep showing you more. We'll keep going. This is getting a bit too long already. Okay guys, real quick. I just thought I would show you before I continue. These are the kind of resources you're going to need for your tanks. You want some skewers. These are some they're kind of like toothpicks but very thick. Which, speaking of, you'll want toothpicks. This is actually a very bad toothpick, that one. Ignore that one. You want good toothpicks like this that aren't, half broken. And you can see the size difference. On top of that, you're going to want some stir sticks. You can get these from coffee shops kind of thing. I originally got my very first batch of like 5 of these from a coffee shop, and I really liked the wood. And then I found out you can actually buy packs of these at like stores, things like that. I personally ended up going to a dollar store and found like 600 of these, so I grabbed like 2 packs. You're going to want some of this cardstock. This is a thick cardboard, very condensed, so I'm trying to show you. It's thick, and it's a lot thicker, you will notice, than this stuff you get from Games Workshop. This is pretty much paper thin. This is thick. So this is a tough stuff. This is what I actually use, if I can pull it out, for my tank armor. So it's kind of what you can actually kind of see where the process is. You got the toothpicks holding the joints of these. This is the cardstock, the wall. This is actually cardboard, but cardstock theoretically could work for this. I just don't want to use, because I can't get this cheap. I have to get this from Amazon right now. I haven't found anywhere else, so I'm just going to use cardboard for that. I do not want to waste my cardstock. But all this skeleton, that is the coffee stir sticks. So you can kind of see the idea. Yeah, and these skewers, you can't see them on here, are what I am going to be bulking out these areas for strength. I'm going to put a layer of hot glue, put that in between, really hold it in place, and that should give it stability. So just get these and hot glue gun, obviously. I got one here. This is an old one I've had for 3 years now, I want to say. Really good. Yeah, it can use any hot glue, yeah. Alrighty, back to it. See you in a bit. Hey guys, back again. So I thought I'd show you, you know what I decided? It's hard enough to kind of see if this thing matches, so I just built this part here. It's still melting together. I literally just, it should stick together well enough, it looks. And I glued this, you can see I hot glued, put the skewer in, clipped the end, and this is what we've got as a bottom now. And you can roughly see kind of how this looks. You could theoretically, just a second. Now the angle's not perfect, obviously, but you know what? It's close enough. My friends aren't gonna care. And that brings us on to this aspect here. This armor, I had to flip it inside out. Turns out it was all funky anyway. But this is kind of where we're at. So we're gonna be putting, again, this is the side that has a bit extra there. You can see because there's the second line. This was originally the measurement. Now it's down by a 15th. But it seems like roughly these two meet at the same point. And yeah, sorry, my camera is garbage right now. Anyway, theoretically we're gonna have something kind of like this, hopefully, and it'll look roughly right. You can see that. So I'll see about getting some things to straighten this out, and I'll show you how it looks then. Bye. Alrighty, really excited about this update. Now you can see that's still actually cooling, but you can see I have added some. I even added one here. You don't need to. I just did because first it gives more stability, but also it'll actually add to the texture when I do get around to building this, because obviously this is missing this entire chunk here. And actually, you know what, theoretically, if you want, you could make your own little box there with more cardboard, clip off the edges of this, maybe clip off maybe half an inch, give or take, of both sides, build a little cardboard box. I'm not going to, but that's kind of what we're looking at. And so here you can see also this is pretty stable, the hot glue and the skewers, giving it right amount of kind of rigidity. So here's the issue, it goes down like this, but we can largely ignore that. If we hot glue it in place, it'll go something like this maybe. You can just kind of force it to change a little bit, alright? Because it still is malleable, because it's not glued together. But yeah, you just kind of have to hot glue it in place. And yeah, when you do hot glue it, you're going to want a skewer piece there, a skewer piece here, obviously. But yeah, and then honestly too, you know what? I don't have any right now, but theoretically, if you have a bit of insulation foam, I've got some somewhere here. Out of camera, there's my more time board there, so I might cut a chunk off of the unnecessary bit there. But you could probably fill that in a little bit on the inside. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at now. All right, see you in a bit. Alrighty, guys. So another big update. I decided to cut things down. I'm gonna remeasure, but this is kind of what we're sitting at. And you can see largely it's the exact same as before. I just trimmed both this side down and this side. Now I cut at least, it was originally said 1 1/4 inch. I definitely cut it down at least 1/4 inch. That's where it's sitting now. I got a skewer there, hot glued them in. This is no longer 1 inch. I will rewrite all measurements so you guys can see what they fully are. But this is currently the tank body. So that's kind of what we're looking at. They're about the right length, you can see. Yeah, actually, honestly, I'd say pretty much the exact right length. The right width, you know. Got, actually it'd be, so this is length, this is width. Height, that's what I'm thinking of. Height might be a little off. Let's see. Actually, you know what? You can't see it, but if the best way to show it is, you know, this is universally flat. If you look, this is flat on here. You push it. Keep in mind the pencil points up. If you actually go with the flat end, mine is a bit taller. So if anything, it's actually worse because I can get shot easier with a slightly taller tank. So that's kind of, this should work. Actually, this should be perfect. So this actually turned out really well. What I will do, same measurement for the bottom though. Measurement is fine. It is indeed 2 inches and 1/15, 2 inches, then a 15th of a 16th of the 1/3 inch. So 1 inch short of 3, or 1/16 short of 3 inches. And this one is 15/16 of an inch. So just 1/15 short of 1 inch for this length. The angle is roughly, I don't know, it's probably 45-degree angle. Well, technically 45 would be like that. With that. So I guess that'd be what, 90, 120-degree angle? Something like that. I don't know, I didn't do great with angles, but that's kind of roughly what you're looking at. And a lot of this is eyeballing it. Only problem is, so if you're building this kind of from home, you might end up with a case like I did. Now I'm going to try and pull it out. Can't find it. Where did it go? When I first started, I didn't want to buy a Leman Russ because I didn't have a whole lot of money, so I built one. But this thing is what I ended up with. And while technically it was more or less the right size, it was... Give me a sec. By the way, you can see this thing's torn apart. I have slowly harvested my first kit bash tank for bits. I might even take that, actually, for a tank thing. Originally just had an antenna I made. It's kind of broken now. But, yeah, this was definitely... It was really cool to have a... Oh, there's a Greek guy hanging out in there. I have a Greek model. Anyway, it doesn't matter. In short, this thing... Where'd my actual Leman Russ go? Largely it was okay, but you can see there's a significant height difference. Yeah. It didn't really change a whole lot. Oh. You can kind of see... Actually, you know, this is perfect. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna hang... This is taking a bit too long. I'll do my thing. I'll show up back in a bit. Hey guys, back again. Thought I'd just show you kind of where we're at. Sorry, I think my phone's ever so slightly turning. Yeah, sorry. Anyway, so as I showed you, this is the thing. I end up putting a skewer there, hot glued in place, to kind of give a bit of structural support, because that's going to be the biggest issue. Now, up till now, my Leman Russes have had plastic bodies of some form. Even my most kit bashed one, this one, had the body of a T34, so I don't need to worry too much about crushing. But this part, you can see, squeezes inward because this is just pure cardboard. Now that part normally wouldn't matter because that's hidden underneath, but when the full body is cardboard, that gets a little funky. So first of all, I will show you where we're at. This is a normal Leman Russ with the cardboard bottom, because this is going to be my second, because you can turn excuse me, you can turn one Leman Russ kit into 3. I've done this once already. We can do it the second time. In fact, by the way, just for reference, you can turn it into 3. The fact this used the T34 was more just because I wanted to make my job easier. I ran out of T34s. I don't have any more. This was just the one I had. So you don't need to worry about me like kind of cheating my way through this one. This one we're going to do fully from scratch. Beyond obviously the actual cannons, in which case, just to explain, if you wanted to do the tank head of this one and make it kit bashed, you can 100%. I would just recommend a cardboard straw, even a plastic straw theoretically, but I find plastic straws squeeze a bit and they can bend and break and they're not so great for specifically this. Cardboard straws, you can coat them in glue and let them harden. You can super glue them, whatever. You can't really do that with plastic straws. You can use just a plastic straw as the cannon. Otherwise, we are going to... I just realized I'm going to also have to find a way to extend... Well, you know what? I kind of did it with this one. With this one, I did toothpicks. You could do something like that for tank treads. I don't know. A lot of the heavy lifting for your treads is going to be armor plates covering them to hide most of it, so you don't actually need to do a full tread around. I guess we'll see how that goes, though. Sorry, give me a second, shoving something off to the side. We'll build this one. We'll see how it goes, but that's kind of where we're at. We got 2 Leman Russ bodies, a battle tank and a normal one, and whatever this is going to turn into. I'm thinking we will go with... You know what we will go with? I might actually go with an execution... Or whatever, a minigun. I'm going to go with a minigun, I think. Because my only other option is... Where'd it go? is essentially the artillery pieces. I can't find it right now. It doesn't matter. Is the artillery pieces, but that doesn't really look good unless it's in an actual Leman Russ head. So we're going to leave it at that, but yeah, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alrighty guys, now, good news, here's where we are at. First, I have rewritten all of the measurements. So this is 1 inch. Then you put a little bendy. This is 15/16, okay? 1/16 short of an inch. This here is 5/8 of an inch. Right here is 1 inch, and then 3/4 another inch. This here is 1 inch. It's crazy. Over this entire video, I have managed to learn the inch system. Anyway, so I remember I mentioned, or you might even remember because I just did it for you. You guys would have heard it. It was actually technically like 20 minutes, maybe half an hour ago. But the strength of cardboard's not great, so I hot glued a bunch of sticks in. And now, obviously, not all of this is perfect. This part can still kind of bend. But just the sheer amount of sticks are giving it a bit more support. And keep in mind, I'm not going to be smashing this thing, right? With a tank, most of the time you just lift it and move it around. Sorry, you can't see. Just lift it and move it around. So this should be actually plenty strength. I actually had 2 here, going from this kind of side, pointing up, holding up against that support that I put across it. And then I had 1 back here right in the middle, just kind of holding the back there. And that's all good. So largely, this should be a very nice and tough body, actually. Especially tougher than this one. So I might actually make that one... ooh, you know what actually might be interesting? Is putting a stick right down, gluing it in there, putting a magnet on the stick, magnetizing the bottom of this. I don't know though. I might just stick this with the fins, keep it going like that. But essentially, yeah, so what we're going to do is this. So this one's going to be full on actual tank. This one will be a secondary tank, slightly kit bashed. It's going to need the sides are going to have to be kit bashed, and the bottom will be kit bashed, but the cannon and the body will be fine. And this will be 100% kit bashed. There will be nothing, no extra tank treads, nothing. This will all be cardboard, hot glue, wood, everything like that. So I'll stop this now, and I'll get back to you when I've moved on, done a bit more stuff. Alrighty, so guys, let's talk cannons now. The cannons, overall sizing is a square. You can cut this down, I will be. But it's largely 2 1/4 an inch on the long side. And this is ignoring the barrel. We're going to ignore the barrel because that's swap outable. We'll do our own thing. You can switch that around. And that way is 1 inch, 3/4. Okay, 1 inch, 3/4. That fits the whole thing in there. You just got to cut off the diagonal corners. And roughly, this is about 4/8 of an inch high. That's, of course, ignoring right here where you will have the tank... what's it called? You know, the little port thing. Doesn't matter. Now that's fine because then you can add in little bits like this. Now this is just something I grabbed from my old kit bash because I ripped that thing apart for bits. This was originally that tank cover thing. It works actually perfectly as one. So whenever I built this cannon or this tank, it'll be perfect as one there. Excuse me, sorry. So, my current plan is to find roughly the right angle for these things. Seems to be just general diagonal, and cut it down. And then copy on this one. Same thing, do it twice over. Wrap it around with this thing, and cut a bit of this isn't a skewer, this is just a balsa dowel. But skewers, dowels, same thing. Essentially, skewers just have a sharp point. You can use this for structuring, and you can also, you know what you can also do is grab caps from like Gatorade kind of things. Take just the cap, put it in there, because it's roughly the right size, and you can just kind of roughly build it up. And it's like just fill in the inside, you know, give it something in there. Yeah, I'll continue this when I get more done. Hey guys, another step in the process. So, like I said, you got the cannon, you got the head of it. You need to build strength into this. So, I went with all of this. Now, these ones across, they give strength so it doesn't bend back. So it gives rigidity so it doesn't bend down the middle. These ones, however, these long ones that are cross, make sure it doesn't bend, you know, like a V here. Essentially, these ones that are cross stop it from bending here. These ones that are the long way stop it from bending here. So, what I'm going to do, where'd it go? Oh, by the way, I cut like a rough angle, same distance from both, and I just recut it on this one by putting them right up against each other and just match the cut. But anyway, we are going to throw this on here, so you can roughly see. Now, obviously, these heights are wrong. I'm actually not going to throw that on there yet. First, I've got this 4/8 of an inch around, and just wrap it around. So just so you know, that's what the plan is. You can hot glue here, attach it, let it cool here, and then I will hot glue all around and slowly wrap it around. I'm going to try and put, because obviously, the two ends are going to meet somewhere. Not going to look good. So, my current plan is to slap right where they meet, right here, because the cannon is going to be there. And that'll probably cover it, kind of thing. Now, I'm not sure what cannon I'm going to go with. We got a few options here. I got... Sorry, give me one moment. Just grabbing. These are the ones that I've got, really. So, I haven't used artillery piece. That might be kind of cool. But I don't know. It doesn't have the plating, so I'm not really sure. Like I feel like this looks better on an actual Leman Russ chassis. I don't know. You know what? I should have saved this one for this cannon, but that's okay. The minigun could also look good. Or I could always go for one of these. That would rest right in the middle there. That wouldn't be too bad. I don't even need to glue that. That's crazy. I don't know, though. You know what? It'll be a surprise. You guys will find out in a little bit. I honestly don't know, really. But you guys will find out in a bit. Don't worry about it. See you soon. Hey, guys. Just quick catch-up. This is how we are looking. I hot glued the corner, wrapped it around, let it cool, hot glued all around here, pulled it through. This is kind of where we're at. We're going to hot glue here and here. And we're going to mend it right there. And I'm probably going to clip this, fit a minigun in there, maybe a las cannon. I honestly have no idea yet. I might, I don't know. I might go crazy and actually magnetize it. I don't think so, though, because that's a lot of work for the most kit bash tank. We'll see. Doesn't matter. You'll see in a bit. Hey, guys. So here's the reveal. I went with the las cannons just because they have a long enough reach that it looks good. On top of that, I don't want to ruin this thing by chucking it on this. I don't think it'll look good. I'm going to save this for next time. If I ever do get another Leman Russ, I'll go with this one. But we are now on to the final stage. We've built, for the cannon anyway, the wheels have not even been started yet. But we've got all of this sorted out. The cannon sorted, blah, blah, blah. Now we need to upgrade the armor on here. Just like I do have to here, but I think I'm going to do the armor first, build this to look good, and then I'll build the side of this, because I'm excited for the armor of this. And I'll show you, but you'll see in a bit. And in short, though, it's going to be a lot of these things. Going to be snipping these, using them kind of like little bits. You'll see. Alright, guys, I thought that the idea of just these wasn't good enough, because that would really just look bad. So I added in this, so it kind of has a weighted look. And actually, looking at this now, this would look really good as tank treads. But anyway, I did a skewer piece, and I do a piece of the coffee stir, and that just, you know, all the way around. Now, ideally, I do not know if this will, but ideally it'll circle around well. I might actually, what I might do is I might build this up till here, and build this side up till here, and then see where it matches back here, and if it doesn't match, I'll just force it to match by chucking something else there. I'll show you if it happens. But yeah, see you in a bit. Hey guys, sorry, my cat's right over there. But anyway, we have been working on the tank, and I will admit, the tank head is definitely not as narrow here on my version as it should be, but that's okay. This is how it looks. So what we did was we circled all the way around, and then I did 2 square bases, and I did a single skewer. I might put a flag on that. I might just leave it as is, just kind of as is. I put this extra piece. Now you don't need this. This is from the official Leman Russ kit. You don't need this, nor do you need this. These are both Leman Russ kits. I'm just doing it for ease. In reality, you could go without that, and you could just use a cardboard straw. But I'm just using that to at least make it look semi, you know, with the actual bits that I've got. Now, this is largely how the tank head's going to look. This is the normal tank. I'm going to add stuff onto this, but in the end, I'm going to put a magnet here and a magnet here, so I can just turn the head like that. And I can pop it off for transport. So just wanted to tell you that. That's where we're at now. Hey guys, so here's the tank. Here's the siding now. So what I did was I just traced the side. You don't need to measure this. Just build this, trace the side, and cut it out roughly the right. Now I did this wrong. This, like I said before, you should not have the printed side outwards, but this doesn't actually matter right here because the wheels are going to go right beside it, much like, sorry, give me a sec, like this. So it doesn't really matter. But when you get to the wheels, make sure this is the way that's facing outwards. My cat's messing with my thing over there. But yeah, anyway, I'll be right back when I've done a bit more. Hey guys, sorry for my camera's a little unstable. I'm just going to show you because I did this now with the second tank. Because this tank here, sorry, just a second, I almost dropped my scissors. God. So this tank here now has cover on both sides, and this one has cover on one side. But I thought, you know what, you guys haven't seen one side, so let's do it. Cut a chunk of cardboard that is larger than the side. Now again, this is still the exact same Leman Russ tank box. So I'm still using, for all 2 of these so far, these 2 heavily kit bashed ones, all cardboard is still from just the cover. There's still the entire back part of the tank, and not only that, chances are, even if you aren't, like I said, if you can't buy a Leman Russ, you can do this with all the like random cereal boxes, anything you want. So what I'm doing here is I roughly get it right, so it covers up the entire side. I take the scissors and I cut the larger parts that I don't need out. So I'm just angling it above this part where I don't need it. Right, now I almost cut that too close. I actually kind of did. That's okay, there's still a bit of give over here, so I'll just pull it forward just a little bit. And you can see, because there's still some give, it still covers it. And I go over here, trim that. We'll leave the bottom for now. And then we go over here, trim that. We go over here, and be careful. Oh, thank God I didn't. Yeah, sorry, I was looking. I thought I knocked off a bolt. Careful, you do not, or not bolt, whatever it is. These rivets, you do not want to, sorry, there we go, lose the detail. So, make sure your blade does not cut off the rivets. There, see? There it is. So I'm going to get it refocused. I just cut here, here, cut here, and then over here. Again, do not cut the rivet. There you go, and you just get, you see that you can kind of eyeball it. There's a little bit up here that's unnecessary. Let's throw that back on there now. Roughly going to measure it. It looks largely okay. I might overcut that one edge, but it should be largely okay. There's a little bit right there that just snip that, something like that, and that'll be okay, because again, this will be covered by wheels, so it doesn't need to be perfect. So I'll just leave you with that. I'll be back in a bit. Alrighty guys, so here we are again. It's been a little while for me, not for you obviously, but we needed the wheels for these. So what I did was, to make sure I didn't do this wrong, took one of both of these, and you make sure they're the same side, because both of these are going to be the outer pieces, right? And I made sure to trace them. So that gave me, and I did 4 of these, okay, because I'm going to need, you're going to have the 2 normally, which will go on the actual full plastic tank. Then you'll have 2 per wheel, right, for a tank. So that'll be 4 in here, and then 4 on the last one. By the way, I ended up gluing the tank head on. I might rip that off later. I don't know. I might leave it. I'm not sure. But for now, this is what it's look like. But anyway, so I have 4 and 4. Right? Oh, wait. Sorry. 4 and 4. And this way, no matter what, the wheels will always have the cardboard facing outward, right? You see, and they don't have to match perfectly, just be pretty good if they do. But yeah, just so you know, that's kind of how we're going to do that. Yeah. So okay. An important note is one of the most important materials you'll need in this hobby is super glue. So I go to the dollar store all the time and get super glue. The most important part is these lids that you get with the super glue. Now, these, let me find it. Actually, no, I can just pull up a full-on Leman Russ. These just so happen to be the perfect distance. Now, I could obviously fill these with foam probably or other things, but I get these anyway, and they're garbage normally. But if you put just 1, 2 of them in here, and you put another wheel in there, you just have to solidify the spots in between. So then you do have to make the center a bit stronger, but other than that, you're covering up most of the problems in these wheels. It fills it in well, gives it a good bit of structure, and obviously it's free. So save as much as you can for this kind of thing. This is one of my original wheels. I'm tearing it apart to make this wheel. Measurements I can do. The only issue is these I trace. So give me a bit, I'll come back with a measurement written on one of these. Alrighty, so first of all, turns out you can actually fit 3 on these. You can do about 3, something like that. But more importantly, measurements. I did not do the angles because that's its own thing. You can do your own angles, should be fine. This spot here is 2 inches specifically, here to here. Here to here is 3 1/4. Here to here, 2 inches 1/4, right? The whole thing is tall by about 2 inches. This is 1 inch down, and this is 2 inches down. I'm sure there's some mathematical equation to tell you generally what angle to do, but I hated angles and all that, and hypotenuse. So in short, this is just kind of how it looks. I'll try and bring my light down so it doesn't ruin it so bad, so you can actually see there. So you can kind of see that's roughly the measurements. You're looking for roughly, essentially, a pointed back that rounds out around a wheel, a pointed front that rounds out about a wheel. The rest is like almost like a rectangle. You could even probably make this. You don't need to follow the outline perfectly. You just need the right height mainly. But yeah, so that's kind of how that's going to look. I'll make the wheels and I'll show you how they look. Alrighty guys, once again back here we have put 3 lids per wheel. Sorry, it's getting kind of late over here. So this is kind of what we're sitting at. We've got this tank, which by the way, this is something you're gonna have to worry about if you do follow through my walkthroughs. The Leman Russ kit comes with enough for 1 full Leman Russ, and it comes with enough to make most of a second Leman Russ. It doesn't come with the bottom or the wheels and all that, but most importantly, it doesn't come with the pintle or whatever gun this is. You only get this, specifically these 2 bits. You only get 1 extra, and you only get 1 of this turning thing. You get plenty of spare like guns themselves, but excuse me. You do not, like, this is the only one you get. You do get a second driver's thing, which is interesting. I'm not sure what their original idea was with this kit. I don't. Was their plan just to give you like you say you bought 5 of these? Would you just have 10 chassis with only 5 actual functioning tanks? Or either way, yeah. So you are going to be missing out on this. You do have to find a way to kit bash this. Let me pull up. This is what I did with mine. I actually carved off where'd it go. It should be on this side. So I have a few little bits and pieces here. The most important ones are off to this side here. Right here. This like mounting thing with the tank has a handle and the skull with the laurel wreath. I carved all that off to make it more just like a non-decorative one, and just kind of like a driver's side entrance kind of thing, which obviously is in the front and would be a terrible idea, but that really doesn't matter. It just looks cool. And this is actually another thing. These pipes, you can put them kind of anywhere. You get 4 too, so you can put them, you know, all on one. Personally, I like, where did it go? I like designing cool little bits, like putting this on here, or giving this one this stuff. But like, you could also put like all 4 on like this side here, kind of thing. It's kind of your own choice, but yeah. Either way, I'll keep working. I'll show you more as we go. Hey guys, so now we are back. We have attached these wheels to this Leman Russ now, and you can kind of see roughly the I don't really know what these are called. Essentially, the things that hold the tracks are just slightly below that, so we can assume the same roughly follows for this tank. So we're going to do something like right about there, which should give us plenty of space for armor and stuff. This might change the height a bit. You can't really see it. Sorry, I can. The lighting's better for me than it is for you. But in short, we're going to attach the wheels on this one, and then we're going to hopefully attach the wheels similarly on this one. Probably something like right here. Just to, oh, sorry. Let me see if I can change the angle of the light so you can actually see what I'm showing you. Probably something like this to give a little bit of space there, because we're also going to be putting a plate of, it's going to be cardstock, but it's going to be the equivalent of armor right there. So we'll do that off camera. I'll show you what it looks like in the end. Hey guys, so I have now attached the wheels for both of these tanks, and obviously, oh, where'd he go? Here he is. I also know that these are going to need a bit of armor plating, so like that, because we aren't going to have enough wheels to cover all of them. So we're going to hide this one's armor plating, and this one's obviously too, with about, I believe, I did the math on this. It was like an inch and something. It doesn't look like it, actually. Something, no, I guess not. This is just over 3/4 inch. Just right there. Oh, sorry, you can't even see what I'm doing right now. Just right there. It's just 2 notches short of an inch. So essentially you're going to want to cut at least 2 chunks that are pretty long, because these aren't going to stay the way they are. I put 1 chunk here, 1 chunk here, 1 chunk here. So I'll do some quick math, figure that out for you. Hey guys, welcome back. As you can see, the tank has gone through a little bit of transformation. Now, you can still see most measurements on the sides. This is the only one that you're really losing, but I can kind of, you could always rewind, but most of this I can still kind of see, so you'll probably be fine. But I did write the measurements on here. So for this armor cladding, you have, this chunk is 2 inch 3/8. This chunk is 2 inches, it looks. And this chunk's 1 inch, all of which are 3/4 an inch wide. And then you can just cut them as is into armor cladding. But the most important part is these don't look amazing because they have joints. So what you do is you just do a bit of hot glue. I'm doing this badly. I should have done these beforehand. But either way, you just get toothpick and you stick it on there, right? Don't do what I'm about to do, okay? Okay, there we go. Just because you might burn yourself, so I do not recommend doing that. Now you get some clippers, and you clip it off right there. Then you have a joint to connect this plate with this plate to explain kind of like how it's hanging over. Now the tires I'm going to need to do a bit for, but this is going to be, like I said, my overall heavily kit bashed one. Obviously these two are from the official Leman Russ kit, but most of this will not be, so that you could theoretically build this entire thing without any official Games Workshop bits. Like even this, honestly, here's the thing. This cannon, like I said before, you use a straw. This is just a cool bit to add. But on top of that, these two bases, you don't even need these. I just didn't want to spend another 20 minutes adding a tooth or a skewer chunk of mixing stick and keep doing that all across. I wanted to break up the kind of monotony, so it looks good on the outside, and you can also kind of do stuff in between here, which I probably will. I'll probably make it better. But for now, you can just, this tank will be essentially 100% non-Games Workshop bits, or at least you could theoretically build it that way, if you so wished. But yeah, that's the tank so far. I'll add a bit more bits, and yeah, see you in a bit. Hey guys, back again. So I will have to cheat a little bit, unfortunately. I cannot come up with something to use that I have here anyway, as a tank driver's kind of viewport. So I'm going to use these vents from the original Leman Russ kit. Now, you don't need these. I'm sure there's other things you could find, maybe bits of leftover Lego pieces or something. I'm just going to go with that just because it's faster to get this done. However, I do want to show you kind of where we are now. So you can see now there's little chunks of plating, and there is also, of course, the side guns. And the main thing I wanted to tell you, this is just a spare, one of those smoke shooter things that I had. I just kind of put that there just to fill up a bit of space. But I'm going to be doing something like this for the driver's port here, or something. I'm actually not sure. I might do like one of those old German cannons, the ones that are like a full giant hull cannon. I'm not sure. Anyway, I haven't really done any progress on this thing. I just have this cannon and I have the other guns. But this thing here. So what I did was every spot where, like, this edge here and this edge here, where I put sticks, and I put one more here. And you can keep adding. Like, honestly, my other ones I kind of did a bit differently. You can see I had plating go like that, I'd do a full circle around. I had these two kind of like as reinforcements. I'm not going to do it this time. I think I'm going to stick with like this. I might do one more at the end, but that's kind of it. That way they kind of look almost like a World War I thing. You can still see all the measurements on this side for now. You can see all the measurements here. The only measurement you can't see is this one, which I believe that, yeah, it's roughly about just 2 inches, so that's fine. You can't see the measurements on this, unfortunately, but again, you can rewind for that. But yeah, as a whole, we are pretty much done. There's not a whole lot else to show you other than how to make the side guns on here. So I think what I'll do is I'll show you that, and then the video's kind of over. There's not a whole lot else to show you. The rest is just kind of me building these and painting them, which, I mean, if you guys are interested, I could try and record a bit of it. Oh, there's also these wheels here. So I'll come up with something for the wheels, because I'm still not sure about that. I'm thinking it's a bit time consuming, but I might do dowels. But other than that, it's just the wheels here, and the driver kind of bits. You can throw just kind of anything here if you want. You can even do more chunks of wood kind of thing. So I might do that. So I'll show you that in a bit once it's all done. Hey guys, back again. So I added this. I also added the bolter onto the front. This part you can't really avoid Games Workshop bits for the bolters or the pintles, unless you're willing to find, like, so personally, my first time I did this, I used Kool-Aid straws. They were very, very good, but I don't really buy Kool-Aid, so I can't show you again. But what I can show you is these. Now, I don't know where I got these. These were from my work. I don't know what they really technically are. They're probably brackets or something, I don't know, but they're from like a hardware store. But the important point is they have these holes, and a straw, Kool-Aid straw, actually fits perfectly in there. This part I will be using leftover Games Workshop bits because, again, I don't have any straws. I physically can't do this without it. So, much like here, I actually cut the bolter diagonally and then glued it on there, and then I glued cardboard around it to form like an armored casing. We are going to take some of leftover guns to make side weapons. So I think, you know what, we'll give this guy, how about a Melta? We will give him Meltas. So he's got 2 guns here. Yeah, one left, one right. So what we do is, actually we don't cut these diagonal, we cut these ones just flat as can be. So the Melta was actually a very good choice. Okay. So you can see that's largely flat. We're going to take this, trim it down a bit. Be careful with that, you don't want to cut your thumb. I've cut my thumb thousands of times by now. I've gotten used to it, so it's not so bad now, but that's not something you want to be used to. Dull blades are... Actually, I'm not even going to say that dull blades are better. I'm not going to say anything because I'm not sure what the safest method is. So cover this up with hot glue, the hole on the one side, and cover it up on the other side as well. Steel can pick up paint, and so can hot glue. Hot glue is not so good at picking up paint, but it still can. But regardless, don't put too much glue because you don't want to mess up the details, but put enough that it will stick. Like this is sticking now. You can see, right? So now what we can do, we can just kind of just fill that out a bit just to make sure that's okay. Put some right on the edges. Right? And then we're going to put this right in between. Now obviously this is not the pintles that this guy gets. You do not get to change the angle. This is always going to be pointed out like this. Another thing, the size is not the same, obviously. There's not really anything you can do about that, unfortunately. That's the one cost of this kit bash with this specific style. There's probably other ways to make the side guns. But essentially that's what you're doing. Then you could also sacrifice some square bases, but again that comes with the issue that you now have to buy square bases for this. Now if you're like me and you were collecting the old world anyway, you get square bases on the way. But I don't want to destroy square bases for this one, so what we're going to do is, you can actually, come to think of it, you can just use some leftover cardstock. You could also theoretically just use basic cardboard, but that should teach me never to always measure before you cut, because that was, now I've wasted that bit of cardstock. Well, not wasted it, I just can't use it for the pintle. Alright, so we got this longer piece, more or less fits there. I'm just gonna hope for the best here because I don't need it to be perfect, I just need it to cover the top. So we aren't doing too badly, but essentially we're going to cut that down. We don't need to worry about the bottom, no one's going to see the bottom. What we could do though is fill it up a bit with some hot glue. Make sure it's actually really in there. Don't touch hot glue like that, that's a bad idea. I'm just kind of getting rid of this a little bit here. So anyway, essentially what you want to do is you want to build up the cardboard here, trim it down till it fits over top, and block it off. So I'm going to do that off camera. I'll show you the result when I've got it on both sides, and then I'll show you how to do the tires, and then the video is largely done, because from then on it's just adding your own little bits of flair. Like maybe let me pull out, not that one, maybe this tank. No, that's it. Well, this is a good example. Actually, this is a good example right here. So these are Kool-Aid straws that I trimmed down. They look good as exhaust pipes. We've got a Lego gas can thing. This is old flamer kit from Cadians. This is another tech piece. I don't know what this was for. This is old Mega Bloks motorbike thing, so that's fueling that. So it's kind of like just some spare fuel. And you can pull out this guy. I got some Lego pieces here to kind of represent like some kind of strange style of exhaust pipes. But yeah, it's all just glued on there. And yeah, honestly, I wouldn't mind revisiting this at some point. You can actually see what I did. I actually did this exact style here. I used super glue, though. You can see the sandier texture. But yeah, this is this one used that style of side guns. But yeah, just kind of add your own little bits and pieces to the backs and just everywhere else. So I'll just show you the last little bit, and then we're kind of done. So yeah. And I'll probably do a really quick, shortened down heavily video where I'll just cover the measurements just so it's all in one spot. And you only have to deal with the, you can watch this video if you want, or you could watch the other one. Alrighty guys, so here we are. This is what we did. Cut down the cardstock till roughly the right shape. Hot glued it in, filled the inside with a little bit of hot glue, put melters on both sides. And now we're on to the final bit of this, which is the wheels. So what we do is we cut these till they're roughly the right size. We don't need exacts. Alright. And it doesn't need to look good either, because these are just the wheels. You aren't really going to be focusing on the wheels, and they're going to be pitch black anyway in most painting styles. If you do want, though, you can put in more work with these ones. You can make them all look nice and rounded and flat on both sides. It just because none of my friends are going to see this, it's going to be hidden down there like that, so it's not a real big problem. But if you want to put in work, feel completely free. I think I'm just going to do 3 on both sides because that should cover it. You won't really see much else. And yeah, that's kind of overall how these are going to look in the end. So yeah, hope you enjoy that. This video hopefully I'll release probably like this Monday, Sunday maybe, so I don't know. Guess we'll find out. But yeah, hope you enjoy that. Have a good day. If it isn't too much trouble, please like and subscribe. And yeah. Hey guys, straight off the back of my last video, just thought I would do a quick recap over everything. Just like last time where there was the long video where you could watch the whole process. This is going to be a very much a shorter video to kind of give you just a rough idea of how to turn 1 kit of Leman Russes into 3. One of these, which is mostly kit bash, very few Games Workshop bits. So, first of all, you're going to want to take, and by the way, all of this was made with bits from the box, specifically the cardboard alone. There was cardstock, so what you're going to want, cardstock, right? It's a thicker cardboard. You can find it at the back of legal pads. You can also find it just kind of online. There's obviously just general cardboard, right? The thin stuff you get in like pizza boxes and stuff like that. Not the ones that you order. I'm talking about like frozen pizza boxes kind of thing. You're going to want, let's see, toothpicks, skewers, which are just bigger toothpicks essentially for like barbecues. Whatever these are, I don't know what they are. It's like an L with a hole on both sides. It's for like, you know, screwing stuff in. Ooh, coffee stir sticks, hot glue, obviously, hot glue gun, caps kind of thing, just roughly about, you know, ½ an inch of something that's width, and dowels. And that's kind of all you need. So, and just random bits to make it look more techy. So, this is just to cut this really short. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get a piece of cardboard that is about 2 inches wide. That's going to be covering the chassis right here. 2 inches wide. So you're going to want to do 1 inch tall, and then mark it off with a pencil. And every time you put in your pencil, push down hard. It'll leave an indent that's strong enough that when you cut it out, you'll be able to just fold it. You don't need to cut anything here. Then obviously to strengthen, whenever you bend this cardboard, for instance here, you'll want to strengthen it by hot gluing a dowel in kind of thing. Or a dowel or a skewer. I went with skewers. You can see the big video for that. But essentially you do 1 inch, right? And it folds then. Then you do further 15 out of 16 inches. So 1/15 short of an inch. Right? And that goes inward, right? Like a normal Leman Russ. And then you go up by, it appears, 5/8 of an inch. Then this area here, I take my knife to guide you. This corner here to this corner, that's 2 inches. Right? And this, it actually, it looks to be about an inch tall. Alrighty? So that covers the chassis. Then you've got the wheel. The wheel's the confusing one. It's really confusing. It's 2 inches tall. This bend here, that's 2 inches. That's 2 inches, and then 1/4 of a third inch. This corner to this corner, that is 3 inches and 1/4 of an inch. Then this way up to here, that's 2 inches. This corner to this corner is 1 inch. So that's kind of the measurements. I traced that. I don't know what the actual measurements will be for you. So just kind of do, you know, 3 inch, do that, and then do diagonal up by 2 inches forward and all that, and you can figure that out. These cardboard, these are cardstock here. What I did was all of it is roughly 3/4 of an inch. It looks, yeah, 3/4 of an inch is what I wrote down there. So this is 2 inches and 3/8 long. This here is just straight 2 inches. This here is 1 inch long, and again all 3/4 of an inch. Then you just put little connectors with toothpicks here, using hot glue to keep it in place. Other than that, you can do what I did was stir stick skewer, and kept that pattern going. Snipped it all off. This, I believe, was just 3/8 of an inch high, I want to say. Yeah, give or take 3/8 of an inch high. I can't quite remember. You're going to have to check my bigger video for that one. But yeah, as a whole, it's kind of what you got. Oh, I didn't do the wheels underneath. I did on this side, essentially just do dowels. And I'm going to do this off camera. I'll fill that in with more dowels so it looks like wheels. Then you need guns on the sides, gun in front, big cannon, and obviously a driver's view port. And obviously the tank thing that the guy pops out of the tank hatch. Hope you guys enjoy that. Please like and subscribe, and see you later. Hey guys, welcome back. So today we are going to be looking at the tanks that I finished in a recent video, and my old tanks, and kind of compare them. So today, here we've got a tank commander. Now largely, it's pretty much, the real big differences are going to be the plating on the side here, and a few of the bits I threw around, and the tank commander himself. You can see there's actually an empty spot there. You can reach straight into the tank, the Leman Russ itself, because that's just an empty spot they leave. Because the shadow kind of acts, like they don't really build anything underneath, but I never really liked that. But either way, this one, that's my old tank commander. This is going to be my new tank commander, who I'm styling more like a tank hunter, or a tank ace. So I actually messed up. I gave him a rifle and then gave him a rifle, but whatever. I should have put that on the other one. But in short, here we go. So we have an actual banner on the back, which I don't know what I'm gonna put on that, but it'll be a good one. It's from a Skaven kit, the new box, Skaven Tide. I gave him a pointing arm. I don't know where the hand came from. I think Dark Age Irish. The arm came from the War Games Atlantic Italians. The body came from the... Actually, ironically enough, the body is the exact same as this one, but the legs are not. These legs came from the Tank Commander, or whatever it is, from the Rogel Dorn, which actually builds in that spot. Now, it's too small for the Leman Russ inside. So what I did was I hot glued a bit of cardboard underneath. You can faintly see it down there. But he's just kind of a tank hunter kind of thing. I kind of wish I gave him the las cannons to really show off that he's like a tank hunter kind of guy, but either way, he's got the banner, a rifle, and all that. Now here's just my execution. This is just a Leman Russ hat on the side. Just a second, move that out of the way. This is more on the end of the heavily kit-bashed tank. So this one was where I used this is actually, these are square bases on top of those metal things I showed, and the plasma guns. Same on this side, and I gave him two heavy bolters, even though you only really get one on the front. I don't even think you get a heavy bolter. I think it's a storm bolter and or an auto cannon. But either way, then there's the T-34 body, and to match against that, I have this one. Now I'm going to pull this out a bit, just so you can get a better view. That'll be okay, I guess. So I gave it meltas, oriented the right way so the skull's outward too. I took this and this jewelry thing, they're the exact same piece. I attached them there. This one I actually spray painted and painted a while back, but I'm going to redo that. I gave him one of these. I might add a bit more bits to these two spots because they're kind of flat otherwise, but yeah. He's got that. He's got the texture along here. I took that animal thing, the saber tooth from the ogre scrap launcher, and I threw it on top of his las cannons. This one I kind of wanted on the tank hunter back there, but it's okay. I like that idea. Actually, you know what? I might... Can't really take it off. I really wish I did, because then I could have done like a big game hunter who's been given a tank kind of idea. I also put this Age of Sigmar staff head on the back here. Just a pistol here. The smoke launchers on the side. Meltas, like I mentioned. Gave him wheels. Again, I didn't really put a lot of work in the wheels, because you aren't going to see most of them. It'll be like face down like this to most of my people I play against. But anyway, so those are the two heavy kit bashed ones. Oh, actually, kind of messed up. These two are kind of paired because they're both fully official kits. But either way, finally is this one here, which I did a bit of kit bashing. Gave him las cannons. Kind of messed up. Should have given to the big game hunter guy. I put a smoke launcher right there just to add a little bit of texture. I gave him a kind of auto gun turret at the top with some bullet casings. I gave him his normal cannon, but I also thought, so right here, you only get one. So every Leman Russ kit comes with one of these casings. Only one. One piece here and one piece here, and there's only one. And you also only get one of the round part in there that twists. This one doesn't twist, I glued that one in, but you only get one of these bits too. So what I did was I put that extra armor for one of the cannons on top here, and I put the Vanquisher cannon there to seem kind of like one of those old German, self-propelled artillery guns. So you can kind of just run it like that if you want. You don't need to. It's more just for friendly games and to look cool, but yeah. So we've got that sorted out. So that's kind of how they all look. Just thought I would get a quick video done. Kind of give you guys a bit of heads up how things are going. Yeah. Hope you enjoy that. Please like and subscribe, and have a good day.